Hello and welcome to my review of the 15-foot inflatable light show Easter Bunny from Hammacher Schlemmer. This has a retail of $279.95 and is available for immediate shipment at the time of this recording, which means if you end up liking what you see later on, you too can snag one of the 300 made for this year. Hopping on over to the website, since there is sadly no box art for us to explore, here we'll begin our overview of features and other specifications. If you look at the product story, usually there's some useful info in there. For us, it'd be the description of the projection inside, telling us the various Easter items that swirl within. It also talks briefly about the stakes and reinforces the height of 15 feet, but I will say the pictures are going to be most valuable to us. We can see the bright blue belly, which at night will serve as our projector screen, other standouts like the facial expression, more so the bulging eyes. We also have a striking yellow bow tie just below, and then for my personal favorite, the floppy ears, or I guess just the one. Now, if you're not aware by now, this is not manufactured by Jimmy Industries, and it doesn't say who in fact makes it on the site, but hopefully we can learn that information later on. Regardless of who produced it, Hammacher sells it, and you'll want to know that all of their products are backed by a lifetime guarantee. So though this is nearly a $300 inflatable, you should definitely keep this in mind both before and after purchase, as that's a pretty nice service to have attached to your item. While it is an item void of intriguing packaging, I've got a lot of confidence this will be worth taking the time to examine, so let's slice it open and do just that. Well, equipped with an AH3, I have to say I am happy with that, as that's pretty close to a YEF 125, which is a fan we encounter more often on the channel, and just have a better idea of its capabilities. This, albeit slightly less powerful, should still be a good fit for our inflatable. I'll have you know though, it is an external motor, meaning there's a tube secured around the opening that connects to the rest of the inflatable. Some people are fine with this, while others do have a problem with it, since you have to ensure the motor is positioned correctly in order to maximize airflow. Otherwise, you are not going to get the most from your fan. Now, something you don't find me do often in my inflatable reviews is check the instructions, and the reason for that is typically I'm reviewing an air-blown, and Jimmy loves to pack those little instruction booklets with warnings and info not really pertaining to the actual product. While this comes with a manual full of great material. Feel free to pause the video at any time because it has nearly everything you'd be curious about, whether that's dimensions, a power rating, specific contents, lots of things the website description lacked. To then take a look at the 8 stakes, they are a little different than what we're used to when it comes to colossal inflatables, though not really. These have only one hook on the top as opposed to both sides, are of course white in color, and the head is smaller than Jimmy's version of this stake. Yet I personally don't have much of a preference when it comes to either of these, as they are both strong and very effective. The rest of the tie downs and anchors do have a bit more variation to them. Starting with the stakes for the fan, they're not much better than what we normally see, but because it's a pull-out fan, they'll probably work okay. There's also the tethers, which have nice thick roping, yet the clips are not very good in my opinion. They're much thinner and have an increased resistance when hooking to something, so the Jimmy version wins here. After covering the basics of what you need to know in regards to setup, there's a lot more to find out once we get this inflated, so without wasting any time, let's plug it in and continue with the review. Taking a little over 2 minutes to inflate, I'm going to deem that as quite brief compared to most colossal inflatables we encounter these days, especially coming off my most recent video where we had to wait 6 minutes for that bunny to stand fully. Fortunately, this is a much better situation. What is also better, and I was really amazed by the degree to which it is how well this thing holds air. When I press on almost any area, my hand is immediately bounced back as if pressing down on a trampoline. It's been a while since I felt an inflatable blow up this tightly, and is a major pro of our design. There are a lot more positive aspects I'll point out soon. However, there is a slight con with relation to what we've just discussed, and that is this is not made from colossal or boom bounce fabric. I honestly can't tell if it's any thicker than what you get on a standard inflatable, which is a surprise to me considering it sure inflates like it's made with heavy duty material. Now, I did not point out earlier that 2 patches were actually sent in addition to the stakes and tethers. I am unsure of how well they work, as this is one of the only times I've gotten repairs sent with an inflatable, and when I've needed to do some patchwork, usually my go-to is clear Gorilla Tape. These could be just as strong, but of course if this gets a tear and exceeds their length, you're going to need a roll of tape instead. I see issues like rips and tears very seldom. As most of you know, I never like to have my stuff up even in minor wind conditions. 1, it reduces the tension in these types of tethers, and 2, you just run the risk of stretching seams which don't do you any good over time. So moral of the story is if kept deflated in the wind and no one comes to slash your inflatable, you probably won't need patches. Since I've shown the tether attachments on the midsection of our bunny, I should also give y'all a clear look at the ones on the bottom. These are interesting because you'll notice the bunny doesn't completely rest on the ground, so this allows for anchors on both the outer and inner parts of each foot. The ones inside are a little harder to get to, but worth staking if you ask me. While we're down here, we might as well get a look at the zipper, and boy is it something. Measuring 32 inches in length, that's about as big a zipper as I've ever seen on an inflatable, and because of that dramatic size, it's understandably the only one on here. I'll take this opportunity to show you the inside, where we'll find numerous projectors, 3 to be exact, and they look pretty neat. Having 3 projectors is already rather impressive, but that is not the extent of the lighting this has. There is a single light at the bottom of each foot, as well as a light tucked inside each paw, and lastly a larger LED close to the same size as the kaleidoscopes below to illuminate the face. More than likely by now you have all formulated an opinion on the expression of our rabbit. I can definitely see both sides of why you may like it or not. What it has going for it is it's very detailed, especially when compared to a certain hair we looked at not long ago, but at the same time is also a bit cutesy, so I think overall it's got a fairly nice look. Dropping down several feet to the rest of the body, one of the last things I wanted to touch on is how I can't help but wonder if the belly would have been better if it matched with the ears. Tell me what you'd prefer in the comments, as I also don't believe the projection would look as good not on a blue surface, yet perhaps if there wasn't a projection and instead just a soft light, I may have to go with the pink. Now, the only other significant change I would have made to this design would be to give it an animated component. I mean, you've already got the lighting nailed down, it has an appearance that's generally going to be well received, so to complete the sweep and have everything firing on all cylinders, either a waving arm or a turning head would be where this could go one step further. Hanging around the bottom one last time, I do want to hone in on the beanbags which are present. These serve a very important purpose of obviously helping weigh this down, as with the fan being more or less removed altogether, it doesn't add any real weight. If I had to complain, it would have to be how the beanbags are seen through the fabric, as I feel they easily could have been placed more towards the bottom of the foot, just to nitpick. And now I'll conclude my assessment of the 15-foot tall inflatable LIGHTSHOW Easter Bunny from Hammacher Schlemmer. I did discover that this is manufactured by a company called Z-Trend. Never heard of them up until doing a little bit of research. However, if you were curious, now you know. But more importantly, I was really impressed with what we took a look at today. I believe it is the best Easter inflatable on the market, and as you know, we've taken a look at some really nice Easter inflatables on the channel, so I say that with confidence. If you do decide to purchase, please do it through the shopping link attached to this video, as that directly supports me and helps out in making sure I can continue to produce such holiday entertainment reviews. Anyways, guys, until next time, I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.